remember many shocking scenes. The most shocking is to see the anger and the hatred from fellow Belarusians behind a mask, a helmet, hiding with the police baton, beating people, chasing them, people who are armed against peaceful protesters. It's your own country, it's your own state that is turning against you. It was shocking to know that my friends were arrested. So it was in June when Igor Vosik, prominent blogger, my friend, got arrested. And it was in November when my friend Katerina Andreeva, prominent, brilliant journalist, who got arrested as well. It could have been me, right? But it's them who are taken away, and they are in jail. It was shocking to watch then some videos even from prisons showing Witold Szurak, a prominent activist who died in prison. And the investigative committee showed this video of him, like last probably minutes of his life, when he couldn't even stand. He was falling down. And then the regime tried to show that, well, he was just weak. But then it was so cynical. You just see this. Yeah. My name is Hanna Liubakova. I'm a journalist and political analyst. I work for the Atlantic Council as a non-resident fellow. This is an American think tank based in Washington, but since I'm non-resident fellow, I'm based here in Vilnius. Vilnius, Lithuania is my adopted home, is my temporary home. I had to flee Belarus. I had to relocate, so that's where I found my safe refuge. At the same time, I also feel very connected because even the weather is the same. I feel that even the sky is the same. So it gives this really great feeling of home, right? That it's so close. It's so kind of as in Minsk, right? Of course, there are many Belarusians here, many other friends of mine who had to relocate.
When I met her, it feels like I know her all my life, and I love such intelligent people who really care about what they do, and they do that with all passion, and that's one of strong sides of Hanna. Whoa! It's not about being from Belarus, why I like her. It's about her personality. And but what is important that we can share the similar experience about working with the Belarusian topic.
My family is from Ukraine, derives from Ukraine. Only my mom went to study to Belarus, and that's where I was born. When the invasion started in February 2022, full-scale invasion, it was also very painful because we are from the Chernihiv region. It's a bordering region on the north of Ukraine. And I remember Russian missiles attacking this like small town, Nizhyn, where I used to spend summers, from the territory of Belarus, and I'm a citizen of Belarus, and of course I consider myself Belarusian, even though I know that I have Ukrainian roots, and that the attacks were coming from Belarus, right? How painful and cynical it was. I cannot say for sure what would happen if I stayed in Belarus, but given that I'm currently on the wanted list and I was recently sentenced to 10 years in prison by a court in Minsk, that is probably the answer. I might get arrested. I might get sentenced to years in prison. I left Belarus in August 2020, which is more or less exactly 4 years ago. I didn't want to leave, but around this time, 4 years ago, I kept receiving messages from my friends abroad saying that I was too visible. And at some point, there were like many messages. And I thought, okay, who am I not to believe, in this kind of message that I receive. And because it was summer and I didn't really plan to leave for years, I took only some things with me basically. And then I never came back after that. I did not expect the level of brutality that we saw, but I knew that the regime would react. And I had a helmet, I had a press jacket, I had glasses because of the bullets. That's how you protect yourself. And we saw people gathering everywhere. It was, you just see them, right? You know that people would come out and protest even before the actual gathering, right? People were so united. It was just amazing. People had these white bracelets. It was great. And then we covered, as journalists, we covered what was happening. I had to run a lot as well because of the security forces following us. There were also police drones following us as a group of journalists. So it wasn't safe at all.
The repression intensified, so people had to leave Belarus. But with constant update, it was Twitter, for example, Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, Svetlana's advisor, Franek Vichorka, and Hanna Liubakova is a journalist. And she was unstoppable. She was tweeting, writing articles, making statement comments. We had same circles in Vilnius, and then eventually we met each other, and I felt this amazing energy of a person who is maybe restless in some sense, but wants to continue informing the world about everything that's going on in Belarus.
For me as a journalist, it was historic, but also for me as a citizen of my country, that was incredibly historic. And then you have the next days. You have even more brutality. You have even wider, bigger protests. Even more hope. You feel even more pain because your friends are being taken away and arrested one by one, and you see what's happening with people. You also get more information. You hear that people were tortured in prisons or in detention centers. You hear that some of them were raped. You get information that people are killed on the streets. And then we heard stun grenades, explosions. And then there were one by one these explosions happening. And everybody got silent. And that silence was so heavy because we knew that something was happening there, something really, really tragic. And Alexander Tarakovsky was killed on the 10th of August there. So yes, so there was this victim, and we were right. Yes, something really tragic was happening. And then there were first female protesters. So we had this first female, all women marches. They were wearing white dresses. They came on the streets on the 12th. It was shocking for the police, for security forces. There were thousands of people arrested at that point, and then women were on the streets, and it was, with flowers. It was such a powerful symbol. It led to the 16th of August, when we had this historic, massive demonstrations. I was in Minsk, and I even cried there. I never imagined this. I'm so happy that I was there. And people were everywhere. Like, people were just coming from all corners. And we are truly a nation of partisans in a way, because all of a sudden, everybody had a white, red, white flag. Where did they get it from? Like, did they make it at home? Did they buy it somewhere? Despite all the brutality, despite all the state terror, repression, arrest that we experienced, people have not given up. You might not see mass protests on the streets now because any street activity is banned, but people self-organize, people do what they can, people gather, perhaps in the underground, people know that they are there. And actually recently, somebody wrote me, this person is under house arrest, and yet she wrote me that she follows, she cannot put likes under my posts, but she follows me, and she's very proud, and she has a lot of hope. And I cannot lose it either.